What is going on, my lovely fans? Welcome to another edition of Joe's Crime Stories, where I talk about crimes that are either back in the day or current events. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a favor, go ahead on, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell up top. And also, too, don't be shy. Go ahead on and hit the follow button on my other platforms as well. So I'm about to put in what we are talking about tonight, which I'm going to be real quick about. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. And I will tell y'all what I'm doing. And I'm about to load it up. Sorry about that. I thought I already had it on there, but I did not. So, my bad. All right, here we go here. But I'm about to give y'all that reel right here, right now. That's one thing y'all know about me. I'm authentic. I do it while talking to y'all because I like to be authentic about it. All right, let's see here. All right. Let's see. Let's see here. I want to play games. Hold on. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it the other way. Hold on. Let me bring it in here. Let's see. Well, let me do it this way. Nope. I'm gonna have to do it this way. All right. Well, it is what it is. I'm going to go old school today. I was trying to load it the other way, but it didn't want to load. So we're going to do it that way. So this is where we is. This is where we at. So we'll go right here. And there you go. I think I'll do it right over here. All right, so we'll do it that way because I can't do it side by side for some reason. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. So this is gonna be a little awkward because I can't get it to go where I want it to go. Try to get it beside me. So let's see here. All right, so I guess we'll do it that way. Bump it. So this is where to be at for the night. So I'll just do it that way. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical difficulties, but we on now. So the night story is going to be about a person named Jennifer Fletcher. Jennifer Shambron Fletcher. Now, this story takes place back in 1998. And the reason why it takes place back in 1998 because it's one of them situations where it was like a cold case. But imagine being a incredible husband who would bust your behind trying to take care of your wife, looking out for, doing all the things a husband are supposed to do. And she turns around and basically just never satisfied. And then all of a sudden, you find out that she's not being true to you. And a couple of days after you find out, you turn up dead. Well, that is the case that happened to Officer Joel Shambrum, who married his wife named Jennifer Shambrum Fletcher. So I'm just going to do some rewind, go and do this a little different. I'm going to do a little touch on some of when they met and how we got here. So Jennifer Fletcher Shambrum met Joel Shambrum one night at a skating arena in back in I want to say San Francisco area, something like that, in California. Anyway, she saw him. She was smitten by him. She saw this tall, gentle guy, very in shape, muscular, the type that young ladies fall in love with. And it was kind of like a love at first sight. They started talking, they hooked up, and before you know it, they became a unit. They got married and they had a kid together. Now, as soon as they got married and had a kid together, things kind of went downhill because Jennifer was the type of young lady that she had to keep up with the Joneses. Like Jennifer was the type of young lady she had to have the nicest cars. She had to have the nicest clothes. She had to look better than everybody. She had to look straight clean. Like if she couldn't be A1, she ain't had time for it. So it was becoming a financial problem for Joe. Joe's like, every time he turn around, he can't keep no money. As fast as he got a check coming through the door, his wife is spending it all up, buying designer clothes, buying this, buying that. He working overtime. He's damn near killing himself. So finally, one day, they met a guy who was trying to sell insurance named Matthew Fletcher. Matthew Fletcher came through to the door, talked to him, was like, hey, uh, I sell insurance. And they got on to a discussion somehow, some way about the money in it. And he was like, oh yeah, man, it's very lucrative. You can make a lot of money. Your wife got the right face, the right personality for it. Jump, get her to jump on it. So she was like, all right, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Well, little did Joel know at the time that his wife was being recruited by Matthew Fletcher because he had an attraction to his wife. And in fact, he was basically like, as soon as Joel stepped out of the room, he quick to tell her, like, yo, why you with this guy? He's a yuppie. You need to be with a man like me, baby. I'm successful. I'm nice looking. I'm everything that men dream of being, confident. And so Jennifer liked that because Matthew gave off this sense of success. So they all went to business together, making it where young Joel Shambrom was going to be the first client for this insurance. And Matthew was hanging out a lot over there. Every time they had parties and stuff, they're hanging out. And this young lady was being reckless. Every time she seen Matthew, she all over this dude. She's kissing him. She's on his lap. I mean, it was so obvious that Ray Charles could see that there was something unprofessional going on with Matthew and Jennifer. But Joel, trying to be the better husband, the better guy, he tried to, play along like everything's cool and everything else. But unfortunately, he wasn't seeing it that way.
30. Nah.
Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, it just got to the point that everybody was being uncomfortable. People was like telling Matthew, like, yo, man, telling not Matthew, but telling Joel, like, yo, what is up with this dude? He's all over your wife. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no respect. He kissing her. He all in the pool party. She all hanging out on him and stuff. She on his lap taking pictures. Like, she act like he the next best thing, bro. So sooner or later, Matthew like, you know what? I mean, not Matthew, but Joel's like, you know what? It's time for me to let my police work get involved. Let me try to see what's up. So Joel goes and investigates, and Joel finds through her cell phone, there's messages they talking about how much they love each other, how much they want to be with each other, and everything else. Now, when this all happened, Joel was like devastated. And he confronted them like, yo, what's up? What's really good? What y'all got going on here? I'm not crazy. I seen the messages. Well, they deny. Oh, no, ain't that, man. We playing around. That's how we communicate. I don't even look at her like that. She's just a good friend. But it was already clear in his head that there was no friendship here. It was more. They were romantically involved, and it was definitely taking him for a ride. So Joel was out because Joel had already looked at it this way. Before we got to this point, this girl, Jennifer, had spent so much money in the relationship that they had to move in with her mom. Okay, because they had to sell the house to pay off some of the debt. And it wasn't getting any better. So Joel just got to the point like, all right, if this is how it's going to be, then, it's time for me to move on. And because of this, that's when they came with the big plan. Matthew and his little diva, Jennifer Fletcher Shambrom, decided that it was time to go ahead on and cash in on that insurance policy on Joel because he's better dead than alive. Again, he's better and more valuable dead than alive to them. So she goes and kills this guy with the help of her new man, old Fletcher, old Matthew Fletcher. They shoot him multiple times while he's sleeping on the couch. As soon as they did that, he tried to make it stage like it was a home invasion gone wrong. This young Jennifer went up here and took her son in the bathroom in the apartment and tried to play like, oh yeah, baby, just stay in here, everything will be fine. Made her basically had her mother walk in from work to find this man shot up on her couch. So her mother, Diane, frantic, she's calling the cops. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to get this young man medical attention. And the police went and do their due diligence. They come out, they bringing people to the station and they talk to this girl. Well, the first time they talked to this lady, they already knew that she was on that fuck shit, but they couldn't prove it because when you're dealing with these cases, everybody know you got to have evidence. You just can't go by what you thinking. You can't go by what you feeling, a gut feeling. You got to go by what you can prove and what the evidence is saying. So at that time, they didn't have the evidence, but they decided that they were going to take their time and build a case. And that's when it all started, by them watching and watching and watching, observing. Mind you, they done got this money. They got over $500,000 of life insurance. Yeah, I think $1 million worth of life insurance. $1 million worth of life insurance. They living high off the hog. They talking about getting married soon or already got married. Yeah, they living it up, man. Money, everything's good. You know what I mean? So, but it all came crashing down almost 4 years later. On February 27, 2002, the Los Angeles County District Attorney Office filed murder charges against Jennifer Fletcher Shambrone and Joel Shambrone. And former wife of Joel Shambrone and Matthew Fletcher, the current husband of Jennifer Fletcher, who used to be a Shambrone. On February 28, 2002, the robbery homicide personnel served a search warrant at the couple's residence in the 9400 block of Fox Hill Lane in Chatsworth. If evidentiary items were removed from the residence, Matthew Fletcher was taken into custody at a nearby location and transported to Parker Center, where he was booked for 187 PC, which is called murder. Because back then they call it 187. Jennifer Fletcher Shambrone surrendered to the San Fernando court and was taken into custody and booked for the 187. So that was all released on that when they got arrested. So with that being said, it goes further on down to discuss of the conviction. And that happened on August the 10th of 2004. The San Fernando, California jury, after 6 days of deliberation, convicted a Chatsworth couple of murdering the woman's former husband, a Los Angeles Unified School District police officer, for his insurance money. The district attorney's office announced Jennifer Fletcher, 34, and her 45-year-old husband, Matthew, each was convicted of first-degree murder with the special circumstances of lying in wait and financial gain conspiracy to commit murder and insurance fraud. Damn. And insurance fraud, 4 counts of insurance fraud. Matthew Fletcher additionally was convicted of 1 count of bigamy. Yeah, come to find out, her knight in shining armor also was previously married. Something that he did not make clear to her during this whole thing. So imagine that. Not only did this fool sucker you into thinking that being married was the best thing smoking, but he turned around and he lied to you that he was already married. Man, it doesn't get no deeper than that. The Fletchers are scheduled to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole when they return to Superior Court. Judge Ronald Cohen's court in San Fernando on September 24th. The district attorney office opted not to seek the death penalty for either defendant. The deputy district attorney, Jeff Jones, presented evidence at the 4-month trial that the Fletchers killed Joel Chambron on March the 18th, 1998. Chambron was shot to death at a rental home in Northbridge that the victim shared with his then wife, Jennifer Fletcher, and their 3-year-old son. Police said that Jennifer Fletcher claimed the shooting was by intruders and she and the child escaped harm when they hid. But Jonas said the crime scene was staged by the defendants who conspired to go after more than $1 million in insurance benefits. Man, that's crazy. The Fletchers became engaged less than 6 months after Chambron's murder. They received $314,000 from the Los Angeles Unified School District after a life insurance claim was filed. Claims also were filed for about $800,000 in additional benefits from insurance policies on Chambron when other insurance companies that money was not paid, however. See, that's when they had started cracking down on insurance policies. Because, see, back then, they had started seeing there was a lot of fraud going on. A lot of people were killing their family members. So if the police said it was considered a homicide and it wasn't solved, or they would get in contact with the police and they said, oh, yeah, the person that's trying to cash in on that, they're a person of interest, then the insurance company will not release the money. Now, there's some cases they'll release it just to help the police in their investigation to see what you was doing with the money or where to track it to see if you paid someone to do the deed that hurt your loved one. But most of the time, that's how that went down. Now, Los Angeles police detectives suspect the murder scene was staged, and they continued to gather the evidence that led to the eventual filing of the case in February 2002. And that was about it on that. Now, let me see what else happened and see how much time or what happened after this case after they've been sentenced. What you doing? And let me give y'all 1 second. What you doing? Now, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Her and the husband. Yep. And when you see right there, that's Jennifer and Matt right there. I didn't have a picture of the other dude. I couldn't find it. But yeah, man. They got life in prison. I mean, it's sad to know that you got people that ridiculous. Now, her husband, on the other hand, he done released some appeals. Now, I don't know how that worked out for him on the appeals. But everybody all basically said that he was a con man. And he owed a lot of people money. He tried to say the people that testified against him were negligent, were lying on him. They wasn't trustworthy. But they denied that. And so that's just what it is. And since I'm doing this crime stuff, I'm going to start trying to probably reach out to some of these cases, people in these cases, and find out why did they do what they did. You know what I mean? Because that's twisted. That's crazy. Like why didn't just divorce him? I mean, you already had this dude. You felt like he was successful. Just leave. I mean, you was already living with your mom. What the worst could have happened? He didn't work out, and you lived back with your mom. You had to struggle again. I mean, you wasn't happy with your husband being a police officer. He wasn't nowhere the caliber you wanted him to be. I just think it was just greed. At the end of the day, it was just greed. She just wanted to have her cake and eat it too. And that's a sad situation when you're dealing with people like that. Because, man, I tell you, money can be the root of all evil. But anyway, if you like this story, man, go ahead on, do me a favor. Don't be shy. Donate to my channel as well. You can donate to the following over here to the Cash App. That definitely help out. Also, too, I'll be having a link for my Buy Me a Coffee. Y'all can donate to that. It takes PayPal, credit card, whatever, checking card, whatever. And thank y'all for giving me this moment, this platform to talk to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Take care of yourself and think before you do things. Peace.